So welcome everybody, and let's just wrap up waiting 30 maximum 1 minute, and we will start our webinar Storware Backup and Recovery 5.2 What's New. So just let me know on the chat that you hear me well, see me also, so I will just switch right now camera just to be 100% sure that we are all set and we can run with the presentation and hopefully live demo. So fasten your seatbelts, grab your coffee. I got my one. So just a minute and we will start. I will check on the chat if everything fine. I can see that people is joining right now. Great to see all of you. Hope you are all safe. So great time. We have just next week, 15th of December, we are giving a GA, an officially code drop of the version. So you will be the first persons who actually see the 5.2 in the action. So again, I think we are all good. Just final check. All good day. Sounds good. Chunk, Krzysztof is here. Michael, Angelica. Okay, let's move on. Let's switch to the slides and see what we got today. So like I said, today our webinar is all about what's new in the 5.2. But of course, we need to start with the current architecture because the new version gave us a possibility to have even more data to protect. Not maybe data, it's in the end will be the data, but the new cloud workloads. I'm really thrilled to say that we have Azure Cloud, Azure Stack HCI, Google Cloud Platform, and Virtuozzo as our good fellows and friends connected and integrated with our platform. If we'll have enough time, I will do the live demo based on a GCP, so Google Cloud Platform, showing you how the Storware Backup and Recovery handle the operation, daily operation from the data protection perspective. Then there is a lot more than you see on the agenda about the improvements for the virtual environments, but I will try to cover the most important ones. Definitely the VMware, the instant restore. It's obvious choice, but we didn't have it yet. If you know the Storware for a longer period of time, you know that the VMware was the last hypervisor that we added like 2 years ago, besides the KVM and the Zen-based hypervisors. But we are thrilled to have the new feature on board, not only for the VMware, but also we Plus gave the Hyper-V more features because we introduced in 5.1 the instant restoration for the Hyper-V. Right now, we gave an additional feature called storage life migration. And you will see some new improvements, not only for the virtual environments, but also for the Microsoft 365, but also the CLI new web UI perspective. And there is good information. And this will be also I just realized that we can do some small quiz on it. There are at least three new backup destinations that we proposed in the 5.2. And in the next slide, I will show the new architecture. So please put your three, let's say in a quiz, let's put the three choices. What do you think, which of those that you will see on the right will be the new one? For those who will give a good answers, I will speak with my marketing and sales team so we can build some gifts based on this quiz. And like I said, the live demo and the QA. So let's move on. The architecture is getting bigger and bigger, but when we're showing today the Storware Backup and Recovery from the 5.0, because in a 5.0, a year ago, we combined our three products, because you can reckon the Storware as a product called vProtect or the Codo, Right now, we fully rebranded from the 5.0 we called Storware Backup and Recovery, and we combine all of the protected workloads into the one single platform, starting from the virtual machines. And right now, there is only one player on the market at this point, Commvault, who can attract so many different virtual machine platforms. But to be honest, when we considering the KVM-based hypervisors, especially the OpenStack flavors, Virtuozzo that we lately discussed, we have much more to offer, not only from the numbers of the virtual machines supported, but the numbers of the features and especially the performance that we are providing on the market. Containers, cloud, and here in a cloud you can see, this is what I already said, the three new players. We have Amazon that we had got for the last 2 years, but we added the Google Cloud Platform and the Azure Stack HCI, which is actually the combination on the Hyper-V working on prem, connecting with your Azure, with the Azure infrastructure. So this is the answer from the Storware team, how to manage the multi-cloud approach, because we believe that the best choice is to do not move into the one single public cloud, but build the differentiation, the same philosophy as we talking from the hypervisor's perspective. You can have your best flavor, the best virtualization engine shop like VMware, Hyper-V on a Zen or KVM. But to be honest, from the longer perspective, the key is to build the differentiation. So using a different technology that always gives you the scalability, even from the ransomware or some attacks point of view. So the same philosophy, it's regard the cloud. And this also got some new challenges for the data protection, backup and recovery vendors such as Storware, to helps you to provide not only on-prem installation, but also the hybrid or the public ones. So for the longer term, you will see more features like we will help you to achieve the migration processes between the different sources. Storage providers, nothing new. Application, nothing new. And the endpoints. So we will today focus especially on the cloud and the Virtuozzo support. So the new virtualization stack dedicated for most for managed service providers. And on the right, I will not tell you what targets are new. So this is a part of the quiz, so please feel free to find three, choose and pick and put on a chat. So in the end, I will double check and see what was your choices. So let's start with the Virtuozzo. We are thrilled to have this integration because Virtuozzo made his point, especially for the managed service providers. And we noticed when we started to speak with Virtuozzo that they're using the OpenStack behind the scenes. And as you already know, we feel quite comfortable if we're talking about the OpenStack integrations. So we decided, okay, do not treat the Virtuozzo as another OpenStack shop, but let's put some dedicated tabs and maybe for future dedicated features for the Virtuozzo. So today we're using the SSH Transfer backup strategies based for Cookout 2 based VMs, and we use the metadata export and using Virtuozzo APIs. So in this scenario, because the SSH transfer gives you the ability to do not force to install the Storware component called Storware node on the Virtuozzo cluster. It can works fully outside and connected through the SSH. Plus, of course, you can achieve the full plus incremental forever approach based on this strategy. Keep in mind that lately we also introduced in a Storware the synthetic backup. It means that every incremental can be treated as a synthetic full. So based on this strategy, combined strategies like SSH transfer plus synthetic, you can achieve the incremental forever approach. An option to restore different flavors and the access keys. So all of the good features that we developed in the last years in the OpenStack are available also for the Virtuozzo platform. So if you are Virtuozzo managed service providers, user, or business partner, or just a fan working with them in a daily basis, please try and play with both technology. Believe me, you will find such as fun working on both. Azure Stack HCI support for the Hyper-V instant restore storage life migration option. We've seen that more and more Hyper-V customers, and you know that we support in the Hyper-V from 2016 plus with the RCT strategy. We do not using the VSS behind the scene. We decided to do not support in. Let's give in for the other players. We've seen that more the Hyper-V shops goes into the Azure or combine the Azure with the Azure HCI. So we noticed that it's not far away from the Hyper-V to integrate it with Azure Stack HCI. So we validated, it's working fine. So right now, if you're thinking or you would like to move into the Azure Stack HCI, please play with the latest Storware 5.2, plus more information, the instant restore with the storage life migration configuration. This is the scenario with, for example, Dell PowerProtect DD, because for the Dell shop, we provide in the Boost DD API integration for even more robust backup and recovery operation using the duplication on the source. The Hyper-V, it's the only hypervisor that we use in the agent behind the scenes. So it means that we need to install the agent component that will be responsible to transferring the data to the node or to the data domain directly. So depends on what different storage you will access, you will add. You can send the data through the node or directly to the PowerProtect DD. So instant restore, like in every instant restore that we introduce to the supported platform, is the most fastest and the most robust way to restore your VM. And after you will restore, so you will power on your virtual machine from the backup repository. The storage life migration will give you the possibility to automatically, during the power on, the machine will start to copy the data from the backup repository into the production, and it will go fully automatically without notifying even the administrator. So the live migration is the part of the game. You can switch this feature when you're doing the instant restore for both Hyper-V and Azure Stack HCI. And more, if you are in a Microsoft shop and you started to using the Azure Cloud engine, there is also from the 5.2 option to protect the Azure instances with the Storware. Here, because we're using the disk attachment strategy, the node is important part must be installed inside the Azure as a separate VM. Because every time we will do the backup, we need to first do in the snapshot on the Azure, and we need to attach the disk to our VM, to our node through the disk attachment, and we can from that point read this data and send this data to the specific backup destination. Also, putting the node and the server in this scenario will be the most cost-effective way to protect it. But the goal for the long-term perspective is do not keep the same data and the same virtual machines on the same cloud provider. So we need to think to have to option, with the 3-to-1 rule, to have at least one offsite location which is the separate physical location. So definitely we are, when you will be designing the protection for the GCP, for the Azure or the AWS, keep in mind that the best scenario is to keep the data outside the specific cloud platform. It can be your on-prem, but it can be also the separate data cloud data center. It can be OHV. It can be Oracle or whatever the service provider you have locally, for example. Uh, Full plus incremental. So it is also the part of the new features. We introduced the disk attachment incremental backup. Before it, we had only for the AWS full one. Right now, because of the new features, we have also the incremental and incremental forever approach. Support for resources group map to projects. So you during the backup or during the restoration, you can choose the specific projects region when you would like to restore the data, so the region or the zone. The same thing is going with the GCP. So we started with the disk attachment strategy. So we need to deploy if we have multiple regions, you need to install really small footprint of the node in each region, providing the full plus incremental level backup. And we're giving you here a little bit more option than today in Azure, but no worries, we'll also develop and get this feature done in Azure really soon. But you can customize storage and networking during the restoration. You can restore instance with the different machine type. Hopefully, if all of the demo will works, you will see in a couple of minutes. And like in Azure, you can choose restore a different region or the zone. Mm, not the last, but we started with the cloud. But let's come back to the VMware. I said it's not unique feature when we comparing the store to the other backup players, but keep in mind that when we started the store, we started with the KVM and the Zen. So right now we catching up what's going on also with the VMware environments. And what we've seen is glad to see this traction is that more and more customers see what we've done in the last years in a VMware and is saying, hey, this guy's doing a quite a good job in a VMware. They have a CBT, incremental forever, synthetic, individual file restoration, multiple backup destination. And there's lots of features that convince our customers to move to the backup of VMware from the store besides the other players, such as Veeam, Commvault, and the other biggest. To be honest, today, we will not, let's say, kill from the feature perspective in the VMware. But our strategy from the VMware, I always saying to my partners and distributors and customer, to be honest, it's enough strategy. So I don't want to kill by the numbers of the million features that you will not use in the end. I just want to help you to really robust protect your virtual machine and restore in a proper way. And given the instant restoration and live storage migration is the part of the feature set that we would like to introduce. So this strategy allows us to not covering only VMware, but covering the multi-hypervisor world. So if you're using the different virtual engine shops like KVM and the VMware, or the Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager and the VMware, maybe OpenStack with the VMware, the Storware will be, believe me, the best choice. So through the restoration, and you will also see that we a little bit redesigned the way how we restore the data. It's not the single pop-up, but we build a wizard to help the administrator to make better choices. You will see that right now the instant restore is for the Hyper-V VMware KVM based hypervisors or RHV, OLVM, and the OpenStack. Like I said before, same feature we providing for the Hyper-V. We introduced the instant restore before. Right now, we added the storage life migration. It's important because when you power up your data, your VM from the backup repository, your backups, it's not in most cases so efficient as your production storage. So it means that it's good that you have this data in a minutes, but for the longer term, you will maybe need more IOs. So if faster you will move this data into the production, if it will be available, of course, the better for the all of the users who are connecting to the specific VM or the apps running on this VM. So how the live migration works. So exactly the process are described on this slide. So when you select instant restore with the storage live migration option, with the store, sorry for the old name, vProtect node still, sometimes my engineers put the old name is a store node. In the background, the node will copy the data to the recovered VM to the target host. So it's as simple as you see on this slide, and this is not some magic. We're using the native live migration mechanism that are available on the Hyper-V. Okay, what we other virtual environments feature set is that when you restore the data, there is not only the new wizard available, but also we giving you the option to choose type of the data store, so we can apply the specific disk to the specific data store that is available on a storage domain, depends on the hypervisor that we are speaking to. So you can choose on which type of the storage you would like to be restored. So in OpenStack, we can show not only the disk, but also the flavor, like numbers of the number of the processors, or numbers of the CPUs, or number of the memory. But what we've seen, it's a really good to give this option to all of the admins, because sometimes we don't want to come back to the same storage, or we decided, okay, the restoration, especially for the some tests perspective, it's good to choose that, let's say, this 2, 3, 4 terabytes big disk should go to the most cheapest storage. So we can help also with the migration processes through the backup and the recovery operation. So you can see that we've done in a 5.2 for the Citrix, Hyper-V, Nutanix, KVM standalone, Virtuozzo, and Huawei Fusion Compute. Actually, we finalized and covered all of them. Other hypervisors that we are supported and the virtual machines were done in a 5.0.5.1. This is one of my favorite and really important features. So providing the incremental backup for the disk attachment strategies. Unfortunately, we didn't have it before, and it was hit us, especially for the KVM based and the OpenStack based installation, where we, for example, in OpenStack use Cinder and the disk attachment. We didn't have a choice. We didn't have a chance to use the incremental backup. So right now, whatever you use the disk attachment strategies, if you do not have able to, if the native hypervisor do not support the CBT strategies, and believe me, not all of the vendors gives you the CBT, where they are possible with doing it, we have an option to compare two different snapshots. We are finding only the blocks that are changing between these two snapshots and sending the increment between those two. So right now, based on this strategy, we can attract the OpenStack, AWS, RHV, Azure, and the Google Cloud. So whatever you're using the disk attachment, it's available for all of these supported platforms. Another big shot, to be honest, I even didn't put it on the agenda. It was too I didn't want to put the two slides on it, but we seen that what's going on in the OpenShift world, and we've seen that OpenShift, especially officially moving and recommended to using the OADP as a major service to export the data, snapshotting and export the data from the OpenStack deployments and the persistent volumes. So from the 5.2, we're using the officially OADP and the CSI drivers to making a snapshot for block mode persistent volumes, and for five mode persistent volumes if snapshots are supported by the backend is it when it's possible. Of course, the Ceph RBD. This is also our one of the most favorite storage flavor that we use not only in the OpenStack, are also supported. So if you using or planning to have the OpenShift installation, or you will look for another OADP certified player on the market, the Storware can be one of the choices. The new CLI. This is a quite new, one of the oldest, of course, way how we manage. Actually, when we started the project in 2015, I mean by starting the vProtect development version 1.0, we started with the CLI. After 7 years, we've seen that still many customers, even we invest a lot in the UI, using the CLI and the way how to efficiently manage all of the backup and all of the restoration procedures. Even from the automation perspective, using the cron is also a good way to automate some things, not only using the RESTful API. But we decided, okay, it's 7 years, we could do it better. So we decided to introduce the CLI version 2 right now in a technical preview that will give you the quite a new way and user experience how to use in the UI. You don't So when you will use the VC command instead of vProtect command, you can use at this point both, and you can decide which are the better. Of course, you can stay on a web UI. We will not force you to use in the CLI in the end. But we fully reconstructed the commands to match the latest version, because when we designed the command line, to be honest, it was a set of 20 or 30 commands that we manage all of it. After 7 years, the platform was grew up and matured, and we have 100 of the different commands that better applied to the new way how we do using the command line. And what I loved is that the bash completion support. So you can use tab if you don't remember the full GUI, the full command. You can use tab to complete the whole, and gives you the intuitive way that you don't need to learn all of the command line by heart. So it's a great feature that we added, and supports the interactive mode. So I advising, and if you are the old school player and still using the command line, please play with the version to give us your feedback. So looking forward, we still in a phase that we can improve something here. So all of the feedback will be more than welcome, of course. But not only the CLI, but there's also every version we're trying to do some polishing of the UI. We know that we always can make a better job, so we're trying to introduce some small feature that will make your life easier. In the version 2, we focus more about the dashboard thing, and we said, okay, let's do a little bit refresh styling. let's forget about some shadows. Let's a little bit redesign the way how we working. And you know that the dashboard is the most common thing that you can see after you log in. So we would like to give you the best in bread experience, because it's just a few minutes where you're saying, okay, it's working good or not. Like here, you can see more red than the green. What something goes wrong, how to manage, and by the drill down philosophy, how to get the most important thing in just a few clicks. So in a live demo, you will see how the new dashboard looks. Um, I really like it. And as you know, or not know, the Storware is a Polish company. So we decided to, beside the two different, six different languages, like we started, of course, with English. We have a Chinese, Spanish right now, Japanese, French, German. We decided to give you the Polish language support. It's important, especially for the Polish administrators and for the government companies, and that they can use the local vendor with the local language. So really happy to not only have right now the the web interface, but also our website with the Polish language. And we noticed that many times when you install the software, you forget about set it up two things. So the language interface, because maybe you don't know that you can go to the top right and change the language. So always when you doing in initial configuration wizard, we started with the two major questions: what's the language that you would like to use it, and what's your actually the system time zone. Because many times from the proof of concept perspective, when people playing with our software, we notice that administrators, they do not uh, set it up the proper time zone, and they have, the question, why my scheduled backup doesn't run at 2 p.m. Because maybe this 2 p.m. is not the same that your system is see, because the system can work in a different time zone. So we always encourage to use the system time zone based on a place where you actually are. And we introduced the small but the big features is the multi-select filter for the virtual environments. Maybe you would like to select not only give me the protected, but protected and not scheduled, or give me the protected and from the two different backup destinations. So multi-select filtering for even more robust access to the key data that you would like to get when you're using the Storware Backup and Recovery. And this is what I already mentioned, the restore wizard. So when you right now restart the machine, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. You don't need to do all of the 5. You can just do with the 2 clicks. So you can go straight away to the summary. But because we're giving you more and more choices, or how and where to actually recover your data, it's better way to provide a better user experience by the wizard, not in a single big pop-up. So from my perspective, it's more clear that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, where when you can choose specific data like networking, like storage, like advanced data and general, and the summary with all of the sets that you already mentioned. From the Microsoft 365, we also we polished some contacts and calendars, so we can download right now with the vcard and iCloud formats, and we are ready for the new Teams API support. This is not the best information for the end users, because Microsoft will start to charge you from using the Teams API. So it means that when you will start to robust your and doing a more backing up of the teams, you will get extra charge, not from us, but from the Microsoft. And in new version, you will see even more scale performance features that we introduced. and proved in the last months on the many POCs that we work in with the customers, like few thousand users plus. And I just show the answer, but hopefully you didn't catch it. Let's go to questions. York, York, I will answer later on in a QA version. Nobody put the information about the backup providers, so I will come back. So just put the on a chat information. What are the 3 new backup destinations that we are supporting in the 5.2? And in the meantime, I will switch to the live demo. And in the end, I will come back and answer the questions that I've seen on the system. Right now, we have a 2 from York, but let's wait till the end. So let me just fast switch into the live demo. All right, so you should see my dashboard right now. So for all of you who just seen the first time the Storware Backup and Recovery, it will be hard to explain all of the differences, but I believe for those who played before, you can see that it's much more clear without the shadows way how we visualize it. We definitely change the way, because we have more workloads like virtual environment, storage cloud, how we providing the information here. Also, we introduced the transfer rate. Let me just add transfer rate that gives you the information, okay, how fast the backup actually was. So many times we had this chart for the specific VM, but we didn't aggregate and provide it into the dashboard. So my Storware Backup and Recovery right now, it's connected to the GCP. Let's see how it works. So in the hypervisors manager, so in virtual environments infrastructure, we just need to create and choose not AWS, but in this case GCP. And here we have 2 things that we need to provide, especially always recommend right now to using the latest disk attachment with the change block tracking feature, so with the incremental. And we need to provide 2 different parameters. The first one is the organization ID. The organization ID 0 will redirect you to the main GCP project that is working without the name. But of course, you can provide if you would like to connect to the specific one, and access key. This is a part of the integration. I already attached my GCP hypervisors provided the specific access key. So when you're creating the user, you're creating the user with the specific access to the or projects and with the specific access key. So like always in a store, after you add, you need to do the inventory synchronization. So it means that we collecting this data from the API to the store. So this will giving us the list of the running instances on the GCP that we can protect. After doing the initial after doing the inventory synchronization, we just go into the instances and we can see the few instances that we can attract. Let's see on the GCP is if we are see the same view. So you will not see, it's not this is a live demo, not the video. So we have the SBL micro many disk windows, so a few instances that they are running on my GCP. Same here. So I will grab the micro, so it's like 10 gig. Virtual machine is quite small one. Micro, so using the most, the less I believe it's a micro flavor. So let's backing up. Let's do the incremental one. Let's work on. So the workflow starts. So the backup, like always, workflow means that always the task is going into the queue. If we have a space, we're running this task and we're doing the export on a GCP. Let me just refresh a little bit, zoom in the view, and let's go to all of the activities. And you should see right now, 1140 V1 compute snapshot insert. So we just gave the information. So the Storware Backup and Recovery goes into the Google Cloud, and through the API, we're saying, okay, we would like to grab and snapshotting the specific disks. When we will do the snapshot, we will combine the we will attach the snapshot. Let's refresh, see what's going on in the activity. The whole process will last a few minutes, so let's be a little bit patient. So we will attach this disk, and we will find only the change blocks that I changed since the previous snapshot. So it should work a few minutes here. Let's come back here, and let's see, for example, let's go. You can see previously the backup history, that the incremental, nothing changed. So instead, I just did the 30 minutes before, I just ran the dry run to be 100% that everything works in fine. So after a few minutes, like you've seen the 3 minutes 52 seconds, we should get the incremental, which is a really small footprint, 33K. Nothing changed. So we don't want to send another 10 gigabytes to our storage, and it's also the cost effective, because if we have the data, we would like to export the data outside the GCP or the Azure or the AWS. The incremental forever approach is the only way how to do it in an efficient way. Let's see. Okay, it started exporting data. So it means that if I will refresh the activity on my GCP, I should see some new information. Yeah, create a disk. So insert create disk attached to the specific VM. So disk is attached to my node. Node is transferring this data, and this data will be transferred to my synthetic backup, and we have a secondary backup. So it will goes into the two direction in the same time. First found on my synthetic backup, then on my local file system. So looks good. Let's see the restoration process. We know that the real fun is started when we're doing the restoration, not the backup. So we know the backup is really efficient at this point. Let's go to the restore, and this will be the place when you will see also the restoration wizard. So we started with the general. Okay, what type of the backup I would like to grab? What snapshotting? I will grab the snapshot. Let's grab the latest one. Where I would like to put the data. So let's keep the Europe West to availability zone. Which cluster? Let's keep the same. And the project. You can see we have two projects in a store for my development team. So there is a development and development GA. Let's keep in the same. Storage. Maybe we would like to restore. Maybe we would like to restore row webinar to, let's say, PD standard storage with the micro row webinar. Networking, the default GA network, I will not change it. We have not enough time. The flavor, let's skip the E2 micro flavor from the EC2 to not kill us from the pricing point of view in the end. And you have a summary. In advanced also, let's skip delete if the virtual machine exists. I would like to name it. Yeah, change the name. So in general, I will come back. Forgot about this. So micro Storware 5.2 webinar. Let's name it. Let's summary. You can see that restore storage name, project name, the machine should be everything works good. Restore. Task is created in a queue, and let's wait another few minutes. In the meantime, I will just jump out and see, show a little bit about where you also can find the Azure and the Virtuozzo. So all of the new clouds or Virtuozzo can be found as a new um, hypervisor managers. Here, because you can see that Virtuozzo is a part of the OpenStack behind the scenes. We can use the different authentication domains, etc. We don't have enough time to cover everything, unfortunately. But this is the place where we can grab it, find it. Let's see the view, grab. Also, our machine micro. The backup was done even faster for the 20 seconds, same, so nothing changed. Let's wait for the restoration process. Restore right now are working in a progress. Good. Keep in mind about the stats. We also introduced this transfer rate, so it's also good view, not only the so we have a backup size, backup time, so you can also analyze per VM where was the bottleneck. Are we waiting for some queue in our system, or maybe there are some problem with the transfer rate? So everything is visualized in quite beauty way here. And this is what I also introduced with a team actually a year ago, and I always trying to encourage customers and partners to using it. This is a nice view of filtering the event calendar, what happened in the last, for example, month. You can see that how many trials we have, how many failures. So it can be, from the high level perspective, can gives you the really fast, robust information about the good news, but also the bad news. Okay, so let's see if the restoration are coming here. Beauty. So in the meantime, I will just jump out to the question because we are running out of time. This is the answers. Nobody others on. Let's go on a chat. Floppy, pigeons, and death null. That was quite sophisticated answers, Krzysztof. Unfortunately, we don't have a floppy on the roadmaps. Death null is always with us from the beginning. So when you have a problem with the restoration, my support team is saying, guys, but you chose the death null backup destination, so it'll be quite tough to restore the data. About the pigeons, I need to take another pill to answer this question. So this is a quite tough. Good one. Thank you for that. Rubrik, BackBlaze and Wasabi. So we are happy to introduce the new friends into our family. So the new two object storages, cloud object storages companies, and the Rubrik as an enterprise backup provider. With the Rubrik integration, we are able to providing the beauty of our systems. So using the managed volumes SLAs, we are provided to enhance the existing Rubrik customers with the new set of the data sources that Rubrik doesn't support today, starting from the OpenStack through the KVM, so the whole Zen environments, so we can be a great add-on to the existing Rubrik customers. And about the BackBlaze and Wasabi, this is all about building the disaster recovery capabilities with the Storware, with the new public vendors and storage providers. Live demo. Let's come back to the QA because I saw few ones. So team, what is the future with sales? So let's grab the sales later on. Tape out in a future releases. Yes, the good news is that we already started development for the tapes. So in the next release that we are planning in the April, we're planning moving to the 6.0. The next year we're planning the 3 releases. So for sure, one of those releases will have a tape integration. We know that there is a more and more market is forcing us to go into this direction, especially from the ransomware perspective. So you can be 100% sure that the store is going into this path. So the tape, we call tape manager, will be the part of the solution. Thank you, Zdenek, for this question. Is it possible download vProtect appliance? Not vProtect today. The Storware Backup and Recovery. We have the 3 different images. We have OVA for the VMware. We have the RHV and the Nutanix and the Citrix. But I believe you can deploy the OVA on a Hyper-V, but also please contact my team. You can use all-in-one installation. So if you will install the CentOS stream or the RHEL as one of the VMs in a Hyper-V, you can pretty fast install, like in a 10-20 minutes, all of the configuration. But I believe the OVA will be the best approach to put on a Hyper-V. Zdenek. Jörg, web UI, can I update the dashboard with my own elements report, change the based on the user group roles? Not yet. It's a good question. Right now you have a predefined by us the dashboard. You cannot change the structure and the way how it's visualized, but it's a good feature set for the future. We'll consider it. CLI, is it possible to start, monitor, and stop backups from the CLI? Of course, yes. It's important. You can automate it. You can use the CLI to do it. You can use also the RESTful API to, for example, integrate with the CM system or some log system that will help you to monitor this kind of the interactions. What is the future with sales through Dell? Is there be a difference in product features? There are the difference from the beginning, Zenek. Our OEM players, not only the Dell, but also the MicroFocus, IBM, they have a different set of the features. The full range you will always find in a store. For the specific differences, you can always contact us or finds this information through the specific OEM, such as Dell. So the good question. Thank you for it. Okay, team. I planned all, but let's prove the restoration process. I will just move into the tab here, and we will close the session. So what we've seen is that the restore is finished. Looks good. 3 minutes, 5 seconds for the total operations. So let's go to the activity. Let's see in the activity log what changed. If there are some new information, and the last page will be see the instance. Detach disk, complete deletion disk, create VM, create VM. Looks promising. Let's go to the compute engine, virtual VM instances. Micro Storware 5 to webinar SSH. Let's just click it. So looks like the VM is running, up and running. Come on. There we are. So we got it. We have a running machine. Oh, you don't see it because it's a separate pop-up. Let me just, to close the session, I will disable. I will stop sharing and share the screen. But I need to choose this pop-up. Yeah, this one. Oh, this is what I want to show. So this is a pop-up window with the SSH credential. Great success in Polish. I'm saying many times, to co gryzki lubią najbardziej. I don't know how to translate right now into the English, but I will use my team to help me to figure it out. But the good news is that we restored the data fully successfully within our demo. So, Tim, I would like to thank you to being with me for nearly 1 hour. I plan to have a 45 minutes, but I just realized that I have more things to show than on the slides. I'm glad that all of the live demo went well. Like I said, the 5.2 will be available from the December 15th as the official GA. So if you're using 5.1 or the earlier version, you will be easily moved into the 5.2. So if you're looking for the Azure, AWS, or the GCP backup, you can find it not in the biggest players such as Veeam or the other players from the Gartners, but you can start the journey with us as a Storware. Keep in mind that we believe in the philosophy like freedom of choice. So we will not trying to catch you and hidden in a lock that you cannot easily move from one solution to another. That's why we decided to, for example, integrate with the other backup players. Nobody did it on the market these days, so we are quite satisfied and thrilled that we have a cooperation with the IBM, Dell, MicroFocus, or lately Rubrik. So thank you for your time. Have a great day. Stay in touch, and if you will have any more questions, feel free to contact my sales team, so sales@storware.eu, or you can find me on a LinkedIn or the other social media, so you can reach me directly if you have some technical questions. Please feel free to contact us as a team. So have a good day, and hopefully you enjoyed the webinar and you will enjoy the new version when you're playing on your background. Stay safe. Have a good day. Bye bye.